Welcome to the 21st century where every aspect of our lives is tied to the internet, from our morning alarm to our evening news. We live in an era where the world is at our fingertips and we're more connected than ever before. The internet has become the backbone of our society, holding together a vast web of connections that permeates almost every aspect of our daily lives. Take a moment to consider this. When was the last time you went a full day without using the internet? It's probably been a while, right? That's because the internet is interwoven into our day-to-day activities. From online banking that keeps our finances humming to healthcare systems that store our medical records, the internet is embedded in our daily routines. Let's not forget about transportation. Ever used a GPS to navigate your way around a new city? Or check the bus schedule online to make sure you won't miss your ride? That's the internet at work. And communication? Emails, video calls, social media, instant messaging. All of these tools that keep us connected to our loved ones, our colleagues, and the world at large rely on the internet. Now let's talk about numbers. It's estimated that nearly 60% of the world's population uses the internet. That's over 4.5 billion people. In just the span of a few decades, the internet has become a vital lifeline for billions of people around the globe. So, imagine this. What if one day you woke up and the internet was gone? No more online banking, no more GPS, no more emails or social media. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? In this hyper-connected world, what would happen if the internet suddenly vanished? It's a question that's worth pondering as we continue to rely more and more on this invisible web of connections. Let's delve into this scenario and explore the potential impact of an internet collapse on our world. Picture this. One moment you're buying groceries, the next error flashes across the card machine. You glance around, noticing the same bewildered expressions on other shoppers. You try to call your bank, but your smartphone refuses to connect. Welcome to the first few hours of an internet collapse. The internet, this invisible web, is like the oxygen for our digital lives. When it suddenly vanishes, our digitally dependent society gasps for breath. The first to feel the pinch would be our financial systems. Banks would grind to a halt, unable to process transactions. Your plastic money, the credit and debit cards would be just worthless pieces of plastic. Even cash machines, reliant on networks to function, would be out of service. The economy would stutter, unable to cope with this sudden paralysis. Now imagine you're trying to get home. You tap your transport card. Error. Public transportation, reliant on the internet for scheduling, ticketing, and route information, would be in disarray. Traffic lights flicker out, causing gridlocks and accidents. Cities would descend into chaos as people scramble to find their way home without their trusty GPS. But it's not just about money and transport, it's about communication. The internet is our global town square, our modern-day post office. Without it, emails would bounce back, social media would go silent, and video calls would freeze mid-sentence. Even emergency services, who rely on the internet for dispatching and coordinating, would be flying blind. And let's not forget the more mundane aspects of our lives. No more streaming your favorite shows or checking the weather forecast. Even your smart fridge would sulk, unable to tell you that you're out of milk. The immediate effects would be disorienting, but what about the long-term consequences? As the saying goes, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. But when the internet goes, we'll realize just how much we took for granted. Days turn into weeks, streetlights stay dark, grocery store shelves empty, and gas stations run dry. As time progresses without the internet, the domino effect becomes increasingly apparent. Without online banking, transactions halt, causing an economic slowdown that reverberates through every sector. Imagine your local grocery store unable to restock shelves because the ordering system is offline, or hospitals running low on medicine because the supply chain is disrupted. As we delve deeper into this scenario, we start to feel the weight of our reliance on the internet. Not just for cat videos and online shopping, but for the backbone of our modern society. You see, the internet isn't just about convenience, it's about global connectivity and infrastructure. Suddenly, we're in a world where supply chains are frozen. Food, medicine, fuel, the essentials we take for granted are now in short supply. And it's not just physical goods. Think about the online services that vanish overnight. Cloud storage evaporates into thin air, taking with it precious family photos, important documents, and years of work. Streaming services are gone, leaving behind silent screens. Smart home devices become dumb, no longer able to control your heating, lighting, or security systems. Meanwhile, the economy teeters on the edge of a crisis. Without online transactions, businesses grind to a halt. Unemployment rises as companies struggle to operate in a world that has suddenly gone offline. The stock market crashes, wiping out fortunes in the blink of an eye. But it's not all doom and gloom. This crisis could also be a catalyst for innovation and resilience. Perhaps we'd see a return to basics, to a time when communities were self-sufficient and people were more connected to each other than to their devices. Surviving this new reality would require more than just patience and resilience. It would need a shift in mindset, a return to skills long forgotten, and a determination to adapt and overcome. But that's a topic for another scene. For now, let's keep exploring the long-term changes in this internetless world. As the dust settles, survival becomes a game of wits and resourcefulness. Now let's talk about the essentials you'd need to thrive in a world without the internet. First off, cash is king. In a world where digital transactions are a no-go, having a stash of physical currency can be a lifesaver. And remember, your credit card won't swipe itself to life, so always keep some bills handy. Next, consider printed maps. GPS won't guide you when the internet is down, so it's back to the good old paper maps. Keep them in your car, your backpack, heck, even in your pocket. You never know when you'll need to find your way around the old-fashioned way. Books, yes, those things with pages. They can be your best friends. A book on basic first aid, another on how to grow your own food, maybe even one on how to fix things around the house. Knowledge, after all, is power. Speaking of power, how about non-digital tools? A good old hammer, a sturdy knife, a manual can opener. These are things that don't require Wi-Fi to work. Equip yourself with tools that you can rely on, rain or shine, net or no net. And let's not forget about communication. In a world silenced by the loss of the internet, radios can be your voice. They can keep you connected to the world, bringing you news, weather updates, and perhaps even a bit of music to lighten the mood. But above all, the most important survival essential is community. Neighbors, friends, family, these are your local support systems. In a world devoid of digital networks, the human network becomes your lifeline. It's about helping each other out, sharing resources, exchanging skills, and standing together in times of adversity. Adapting to this new reality won't be easy, but it's not impossible. After all, humanity survived for thousands of years without the internet. It's about going back to basics and maybe, just maybe, finding a simpler, more genuine way of living along the way. Humanity has survived and thrived without the internet before, and it can do so again. It's not about turning back the clock. It's about adapting to a new reality. A reality where the digital web no longer holds the world together. Imagine a world where barter systems make a comeback. It's not that far-fetched. Our ancestors traded goods and services for centuries before the advent of modern money. Picture this: a loaf of bread for a bag of apples, a day of carpentry work for a home-cooked meal. We'd be returning to a cash-based economy where tangible goods and services regain their value. Communication would undergo a transformation too. Remember those quaint old technologies? Letters, landline phones, radios, and even Morse code could make a comeback. In a world without the internet, these could become our lifelines, connecting us to our neighbors and the wider world. But it's not all doom and gloom. There's a silver lining to this cloud. Communities that have experienced temporary outages or live minimally connected to the internet have tales to tell. Take the small town of Green Bank in West Virginia, for instance. Due to a unique local law, it's virtually a digital desert. Yet, the residents have found ways to adapt and thrive, proving that life can indeed go on without the internet. Living without the internet doesn't mean living without connection. It means forging deeper, more meaningful connections with those around us. It means relying on the knowledge and skills of our neighbors and offering our own in return. It's a challenge, no doubt, but it's also an opportunity to rediscover our resilience, our resourcefulness, and our capacity for adaptation. It's about developing a new normal, where life is slower perhaps, but also richer, more grounded, and more connected to the people and world around us. Preparation is key to resilience. And as we prepare for this new reality, we realize that we are not just survivors, but innovators, pioneers, explorers, ready to face any challenge that comes our way. The potential for an internet collapse is not just a hypothetical scenario, but a reality we must prepare for. Picture this. One day, you wake up and there's no more Wi-Fi, no more emails, no more streaming services or online banking. It's not a dystopian novel. It's a possible future we need to consider. So how do we prepare? First, take stock of your current digital dependencies. How much of your life is online, your banking, your communication, your entertainment? Now, Imagine alternatives. We've become so accustomed to digital conveniences that we often forget there are other ways. Think about physical cash instead of digital transactions, face-to-face conversations rather than social media chats, and physical books for learning and entertainment rather than ebooks or online courses. It's about reconnecting with the tangible, with the real world around us. Next, strengthen your local community ties. In the absence of digital networks, your neighbors become your lifeline. Learn to rely on each other, share resources, and create contingency plans together. Lastly, develop your survival skills. Learn how to navigate without GPS, how to grow your own food, how to fix things without the help of YouTube tutorials. By preparing now, we can safeguard our future and adapt to any challenges ahead. Remember, the internet has revolutionized our world, but it doesn't have to define it. We have the power to adapt, to survive, and to thrive, even when the Wi-Fi is gone.